the commissioner of the BLS for this indiscretion, so to speak, we're going to trust these numbers even less. And trust is at the heart of the capital markets. You saw what happened in the stock market last Friday. Look what's happening with the dollar and the treasuries right now. Trust in our capital markets is eroding.
Scott, do you think if the president knew that it was a bad jobs report that came out right before the election, he would rehire the Commissioner of Bureau of Labor Statistics?
Look, what I think he is upset about, and I think everybody should be worried about, is that for a very long time now, and I agree with you, there's something wrong with the way we collect this information. It comes out, we all cover it like it's a news story, but then months later it gets revised, making it not a news story at all.
Is it political?
So I don't know. But
do you think it's political?
I don't know. She was a Biden appointee. I don't know.
Do you think the Trump appointees were political?
Here's what I think we ought to do. We ought to put somebody in who is committed to updating the way we do this and to modernizing the way we do it so that every month when we report the jobs data, people can rely on it. Look what happened. There are consequences. Had the Fed known about the downward revisions of the previous months, there's no doubt they would have cut rates.
Ironically, this might have been what the president wanted all along. You got a weak jobs report. The fact that we may get a rate cut in September, the percentages have gone way up.
Well, my
since
point
Friday.
is we might have already gotten it had the revisions come before the Fed met before. So there are actual real world consequences when these things are wrong, and then months later you get these revisions. And so he's got a point about needing to be better at this. We've not been very good at it for a long time.
So Donald Trump claimed that the job numbers are rigged. And I heard this on the black conservative perspective, so I don't want to pawn it off as my own, but he made a good point. He's like, this is where Trump he can stay quiet on this one. He doesn't have to attack the reports. Saying it's rigged just gives people like CNN more room to spin, The reports are horrible. That's enough. And that's exactly what this panel is doing, brushing it off like political spin. But Scott took a measured approach. He wasn't saying the numbers are rigged. He did point out that the report came from a Biden appointee and said, I don't know if it was political. That's absolutely right. No one knows. This is one of the many, many areas that Republicans outshine Democrats, and it's coming up with solutions. Because his points weren't about conspiracy, it was about uncertainty. Because the real issue, as Scott laid out, is this: does anyone actually know if these numbers are even right? And it's a real issue because that's why they're talking about it here. Just this year, the Biden administration had to revise its 2023 job numbers down by more than 800,000. That's not a small correction. That's a month of economic data that was simply wrong. And these numbers matter. Those numbers help shape the Fed's thinking on interest rates, like Scott talked about, influenced investor confidence, and gave the White House a talking point it didn't earn. So Scott's point on the jobs was simple. This isn't about politics, it's about trust. We need better data, a better system, and someone willing to fix it. Because right now, we're making major economic decisions based on numbers no one's sure are even real. But what do you guys think? How much trust do you have in the government's economic data? Let me know in the comments.